Hey everybody, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
I'm Chris Ferzoco, and we're going to be talking about market statistics today. We're going to be looking at the second quarter of 2025. We're going to compare that actually to the first quarter, just to kind of see, Joe, how things progressed in and through our spring market this year.
Absolutely, Chris. Market stats, we like to talk about that a little bit down here at the Ferzoco Group. And of course, if you like what you hear, please make sure you subscribe below, tap that bell for instant notifications, and hit the like button. And you'll be able to get the first, most up-to-date market information, happenings down here at the Jersey Shore, whether it's the rodeo, we had the Country Music Festival here just a couple weeks ago too. You'll get that information in automatically if you're subscribing to our YouTube channel down here at the Jersey Shore. Our Jersey Shore, Ventnor Market, Longport, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Somers Point, Strathmere, Avalon, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, Sea Isle, Avalon, West Wildwood, Cape May. I kind of jumped all over the place there, folks. North Cape May Courthouse, and Upper Township. I did it better before. Anyways, Chris, market stats, get started.
Let's go market stats. Yeah, we'll just get going. So remember, in our videos, when we do market statistics, we are talking all real estate.
Yep.
Whether it be an efficiency, whether it be a penthouse, whether it be a townhouse, a condo, a single family, no matter where it is on the island, if it's up and it is for sale, could be a commercial property, multifamily, land, doesn't matter. It's all included in this. And what we're going to look at today, we're going to look at the overall sales value of properties. We're going to look at the number of sold, number of actives, list price versus sale price, and we included days on market. So we're back to days on market. It's been a few years since we were including that. Yeah. Ocean City to kick it off. All right, so we actually had a 9% decrease in the second quarter versus the first quarter here in 2025. Went from 1.5 down to 1.36 million. And obviously, naturally, we'll be keeping an eye on that. 9% is significant. And that certainly, bears watching, because we just want to make sure, is it just because you didn't have a lot of new construction that are the highest priced properties, pushing the value up?
Right.
Was it that, or is this a trend that we're now seeing that the values are truly coming down? And again, 9% being a fairly significant number, how significant will that be from the, when we look at third quarter versus second quarter?
Absolutely.
So, Ocean City being 9%. Number of properties that sold. Actually, Joe, we had a huge number of properties sell. We went from 109 to 195, which is about a 78% jump. So that's pretty significant there for a quarter. And now all of a sudden you're kind of getting back to numbers of yesteryear, pre-COVID numbers, where that's just a consistent market. At those times we're really kind of looking at 80 to 90, sometimes 110 properties for sale. Yes, I mean, I know it's not 300 properties, but now getting to 200, that's pretty significant. When we look at the first quarter, it was only 109.
Right.
Okay, so that's a nice positive trend to watch. Also, we did see another increase, and that was in the active number of properties that came on the market. Had 339, went up to 348, so a little bump, but nonetheless, if nothing else, it's consistent.
Right.
And that's really key in our market right now, folks, because overall, right now in Ocean City, Joe, we only have 273 properties for sale. But the market changed, Joe. What happened? People, people are selling, buyers aren't buying, so the numbers are going through the roof. So if that was the case, we should be sitting at 500 properties. Nope. 273, which is right about pretty much where we've been now for the last 4 or 5 years, somewhere between 250 to 3.25, depending. So again, 273 properties currently for sale. In the second quarter, 348 came on the market. So again, staying consistent.
Sure.
Now, when we look at the days on market, again, very consistent. 59 in first quarter, 54 second quarter. And the overall sale price to list price, actually, again, very consistent. It was 95.7 to be exact. Now it's 96.5.
Sure.
So again, Ocean City, very consistent across the board. Had increases in the second quarter. Again, it's spring market, people getting in for summer. There certainly could be causes pushing that, and we'll watch that. But again, all positive news. Now, jumping down the coast a little bit here into Sea Isle City. Sea Isle City actually had a 7% increase. Again, 1.4 to 1.65. So Sea Isle saw their values shoot up again. You went plus 36% in the overall sold column. You went from 28 up to 38 properties overall sold in the second quarter.
Yeah.
The number of properties actually that came on the market though in Sea Isle, that did decrease 30%. Okay, so 47 down to 33. So that's a little worrisome when you have an increase of 10 overall properties sell and you had a decrease of 14, that's a net negative. So again, inventories in Sea Isle, 43 properties as of this video, Joe. Not an increase in inventory, actually a significant decrease in overall. We were sitting around 65, 68 properties in Sea Isle for a while. And then when you look at the overall list price to sale price, that is virtually the same at 97 in the second quarter, 98 in the first. And days on market, virtually the exact same, sitting at about 120 days.
120 days.
Yeah.
So, Chris, as we move a little bit further down the coast, going into the Wildwoods, much like, when you're looking at Ocean City and with CI, like your values are sort of, depending on what borough you're in, some had an increase, some had a decrease, depending on what was selling, what wasn't selling. The first quarter of this year was not a very good weather quarter for us. I mean, it was awful down here at the shore, January, February, March. So that you hope to see the numbers increase when it came to values and stuff like that. So that certainly is a positive. We're going to start in North Wildwood. We had 11% increase in our average sale price for the second quarter. Was $690,000 was your average sale price in North Wildwood. The amount of properties that sold, it was a big jump there in the second quarter, a 53% increase. We had 80 properties close in the second quarter in North Wildwood. Number of properties that came on the market, pretty standard, was 98. We had 96 in the first quarter, so pretty much the same. List price to sale price, they stuck around the same, right around 97, 96% list price to sale price. And your average days on market hovered right around 100. It was actually 98 days in the second quarter, 127 in the first, so sitting right around 100. And to be honest with you folks, when we're looking at days on market, Wildwood, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, Sea Point Village, even in Cape May, your average days on market, it's right about 100 days. It's about a 3-month supply worth of inventory with regards to something comes on the market, and on average, it's sitting about 90 to 100 days, and then it closes. So let's move into Wildwood. They actually saw a 7% decrease in their average sale price. Average sale price was $578,000 as opposed to $619 in the first quarter. So we did have a 7% decrease there. The number of properties that closed, that was also an increase. So we had 54 properties sell in the second quarter, which was about a 10% increase. The amount of properties that came on the market, that was a decrease. We had about a 17% decrease. We only had 79 properties come on the market in Wildwood in the second quarter. And of course, as I said before, your list price to sale price actually in the second quarter was better, it was 99%. So you were getting more from a standpoint of list price to sale price, 96 in the first half. When we go in our first quarter, when we go into Wildwood Crest, they also saw a significant increase in your average sale price. It jumped up 31% to $832,000. The amount of properties that closed, that was also a big jump, 34% increase. Again, second quarter, spring market, it should be busy. 39 properties closed in Wildwood Crest for the second quarter, 34% increase. The amount of properties that came on the market, though, another decrease, 32% drop in the amount of properties that came onto the market. So to your point, average sale prices are kind of going up depending on what borough you in, but the number of transactions, that increased, but almost every town was either the same or decreased. So where's the inventory? It's kind of a weird market because we are also seeing a tremendous amount of price adjustments. In this market right now. I got to tell you, we're sitting in here in July now after the second quarter, and April, May, and June, it was just price adjustment. So it's kind of it's an odd market. We're sort of in a weird spot right now. We are still, what they consider a seller's market. It's only 3 months supply, so we'll see what happens with that. Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach, second quarter, you had a 16% decrease in your average sale price. Now, we only had 12 properties sell in the second quarter. Average sale price was $724,000. We only had 14 properties come onto the market, which was identical to the first quarter. So again, some consistency there. Your average days on market was anywhere between 82 and 128 days. So take the average of 2 and you're sitting right around 100. And finally, in Cape May, you had a 27% decrease in your average sale price there. It was down to $1.146 million as opposed to $1.5 million in the first quarter of 2025. Number of properties that sold, we had a 21% increase, 24 sold properties. And the amount of properties that came on the market, this was actually one of the only few places, Chris, where we saw an increase in our inventory. We had a 52% increase, 39 properties came on the market in Cape May in the second quarter. And your average days on market, anywhere between 84 and 138 days, you're sitting right around 100. So list price to sale price, too, consistently 93, 94% in Cape May as well. So I know you want to jump offshore, go a little bit north again.
Well, and the primary home market actually that I'm going to cover here, Joe, is actually significantly different from the shore market, which I found fairly interesting. We had groups that we are affiliated with, and we were discussing how the fact of January is one of the worst months in real estate history, and not just where we are, but across the country. Right. So when you start looking at that and you say, okay, first quarter, second quarter, look at the numbers we're talking about. We had one of the worst months in history in the first quarter, And the numbers are still relatively close when it comes to the shore markets.
Yeah.
Right. There's a little consistency there.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things where you're like, okay, how is this going to just start to play itself out?
Right.
But let's talk primary home markets now. In Upper Township, we actually had a significant decrease. Now, Upper Township, you're always one of those areas that I feel it just goes way up and comes way down. There's a lot of different price points in the area. And actually, there's a lot of new construction going on in Upper Township as well, so that's a little bit of a driving force. However, it actually dropped 35%, 827 down to 535,000. So again, Upper Township with that significant decrease in the overall value.
Yeah.
When you start looking at the number of properties that sold, we actually had a 65% increase. So that was fairly impressive. We went from 23 to 38 in the second quarter. And again, folks, remember, when we're talking about ones that have actually closed, like how many sales, those properties had already been under contract in the first quarter and they closed in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here, again, that's a pretty significant increase, Joe, especially when you look at the fact there was only a 16% increase in the number of homes that came on the market. So we went from 61 to 71, which, really for the primary home market, for 71 properties to come on the market is in a market like we're in. I was really excited about that for Upper Township. You virtually were replacing, 2 homes for every one that had sold.
Right.
So that's building inventory.
Yes.
And so that's a nice positive. That's a nice positive movement there in the primary home market as we go through summer and people try to get ready for that school year as well.
Yeah.
So we'll watch on that. Overall sale price to list price went up significantly at 93.5% in the first quarter, 98.5% in the second. And the days on market actually went down, went from 54 days in the first quarter down to 42.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you may not have as much money, but you sold a lot faster.
There you go.
Whatever that's worth. All right, moving over into Summers Point. So Summers Point also had an increase of 12.5% in the overall value, jumped up to 489,000, which has been very consistent for Summers Point. Up, down, but staying right in that 400 range. It's been moving around, and so it was 434, went to 489. So again, Summers Point with the 12.5% increase. Number of properties that sold, huge jump, 46%. Right. So what's the trend? You're seeing first quarter properties closing in the second quarter, so people are in their homes for the primary market at least for summer.
Yeah.
Went from 30 up to 44 overall number, and we look at the number of actives, virtually the exact same. You had 75 come on the market, 72 in the second quarter.
Yeah.
75 was the first quarter.
Right.
So very consistent. And the list price to sale price actually dropped a bit. You got 100% in the first quarter, 97 plus in the second quarter, and days on market, virtually the same, Joe. 35 days in the second quarter, 37 in the first.
Wow.
So very consistent in that area.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, 35 days for a primary home market.
Yep.
I mean, you're pretty much coming on the market, boom, under contract,
And sold.
and then you're selling. Moving down into the North Cape May area, so we had a 4% increase in your average sale price in North Cape May for the second quarter. 512,000 was your average sale price in North Cape May. Number of transactions that we had in the second quarter are pretty much identical, 24 as the first quarter. Number of properties that came on the market, pretty identical. We had 36, same thing in the first quarter. So pretty identical numbers there, first quarter to second quarter, except for the small little change, of course, being an increase in your average sale price in North Cape May. Your average days on market for the second quarter was actually quicker, was 74 days as opposed to 131 in the first quarter. So to your point, you actually getting more money and you were selling faster. So that's always a good sign there. Yeah, win-win. We'll see what happens in the third quarter. And then finally in Cape May Courthouse, you had a 3% increase as well. Average sale price jumped up to $431,000 from $418,000. Number of properties that sold, we had 35 in the second quarter, 32 in the first, so pretty identical there. The number of properties that came on the market, big jump there, was a 32% increase. We had 89 properties come onto the market in the second quarter. And of course, your days on market, that was pretty similar, 118 in the second half, 134 in the first quarter, so pretty similar there. And your list price to sale price was also sitting right around 98% in the second quarter. So that'll kind of wrap it up there, Chris, for your first quarter compared to your second quarter in 2025.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on that?
Just a lot of increases in the shore community, right? And that's probably indicative to people jumping in to get ready for the summertime. We understand that.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is that there's a lot of doom and gloom and end of days types conversations out there about the real estate market and how it's done a 180 and all this other stuff, and here it just really hasn't. And so Joe always touches on the fact of not our Jersey Shore, and we make that joke in comparison to the North Jersey, but I'm referencing that from the standpoint of it's not your primary home market. If you're not in this area, you don't live here, our market is different probably than yours. So if you're thinking of selling or buying, you should be communicating with the Ferzoco group, finding out exactly what is going on at the shore in each of the shore towns. We cover every shore town here in Cape May County and a handful of those in Atlantic County as well. So we know what's going on market-wise. It's not the same. Don't assume it's the exact same thing that's going on at your house because at your primary home, because I'm willing to bet it's probably not.
Yeah. And I will say that the one thing that we have noticed, Chris, in the second quarter, to your point of knowing the real estate market, knowing the town, knowing the community to which your property is in. If you're looking to sell, we'll sit down with you. We'll do a comparative market analysis. We'll look at trends that are going on in your area, whether you're selling a single-family home, condo, townhouse, or you're selling a multi-unit property. Where is that market? We're going to list your home, and then 3 weeks in, you're like, man, we looked at the market, we looked at price, and now we're talking about a price adjustment. In your videos, it's all the pricing is up and all that kind of stuff. It does depend on your location, the type of property that you're selling. Not all values, not all properties are created equal. It really is an odd market right now where we're seeing, yes, some increases in some towns with an increased sale price. But again, historically right now, we are looking at a tremendous amount of price adjustments, and I don't mean them going this way. They're going that way.
Yes, they are.
All across the board. On a daily basis, we have more price adjustments on the Cape May County MLS right now than we do new listings. Every single day, if you look at it, you log in there, there's more price adjustments than there are new listings. Price adjustments heading in the other direction. So just something that you want to be communicating with a real estate agent, like someone here at the team. And of course, if you're looking to buy something, yes, give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. It would be our pleasure to help you with any of your real estate needs down here at the Jersey Shore. So until next time, he's Chris, I'm Joe. We'll see you at the beach.